Hey friends, welcome back to the Homestead. It was a doozy of a night last night. We had storms like crazy, lightning and thunder. I mean, it rained so much the creek was up over its banks. Yeah, it was something. So now I'm trying to wake up this morning. Went and fixed myself a cup of coffee and checked my emails and went to let the dogs out and forgot where I put my coffee, looking all around for it, and found an empty cup, and I was like, well, maybe I just drank it all. No, it's right there. So now double coffee cup today. One down. So we got to go check on the chickens, clean out their food since it got a whole bunch of water in it last night, and then check on the garden, see what the status of that thing is, make sure our pumpkins didn't get washed away. We had a little pond in the pumpkin patch. Oh, I wanted to talk to you about our new tool for the garden. So our the stirrup hoe, talk to you about that and how that's been working. So, all right, well, let's go get some things started. Finish drinking my coffee. Well, good morning, little chickens. Good morning, little chickens. How's everybody this morning? Knuckleheads. This is a problem. That's just disgusting.
I'm not proud of where I've ended up. I'm ashamed of certain things I've done. But out of all the scratches, there's a cut that bleeds the worst. Every time I count my blessings, I count you first. Every time I count my blessings, I count you first. Every time I count my blessings, I count you first. I'm afraid I might have given up. I'm afraid I'm running low on love. I'm afraid that in the end you're more than I deserve. Every time I count my blessings, I count you first. Every time I count my blessings, I count you first. Every time I count my blessings, I count you.
Listen to this. Are you gonna be nice?
In this cold and misty world, would you be my little light? Just for atmosphere, I don't need it to see, but I know that you can promise me your whole heart if you're honest, dear. But 51% would be just fine. Every time I count my blessings, I count you first. Every time I count my blessings, I count you first. Every time I count my blessings, I count you first. Oh, every time I count my blessings, I count you first.
Looking all right. That one's looking kind of puny.
I'm aware you'll never be enough.
Here's all of our big, gigantic
there
pumpkins.
Are other things I'm going to want.
Some of our smaller pumpkins. We got probably a little too much rain last night. Still have some standing water mud puddles. All this around here. That was just one giant big puddle. Called it Pumpkin Lake here. But seems to be doing all right now. These are growing up nice and big. Sure, all the rain is helping. But one of the things that we found was difficult in our first few gardens was when we didn't have a plan for the things that we should have had a plan for, the things that we knew we were going to run into. And the one thing that everybody knows that they're going to have to deal with in a garden is weeds. And in all honesty, when we tilled up a large plot or even a moderate sized plot for our garden, we never really formulated a good plan for the weeds that we were going to run into. We just figured we would have to get down in there and dig them up and weed the garden. But in reality, that's not how it works. So this year, our weeding plan consisted of this. We have our 2 raised garden beds, and this really consolidated the area that we needed to weed. We could focus on a small 8 by 4 foot area that we could focus our attention on instead of walking out to a huge plot that we would become overwhelmed with all the weeding that we'd have to do. So here, we just come in here, pull out a couple of weeds here and there, and we're done. And so it's not a daunting task, it's not a difficult task, and we can actually get it done pretty quickly. Now with our bigger pumpkin patch here, we needed a new plan because we couldn't go and bend it over and digging everything out, and it's brand new ground that we're uncovering. So what we came up with was this tool right here. This is a new tool for the garden. It's a stirrup hoe, or a push-pull action hoe. This one's made by True Temper. It was on Amazon. We got this for $27. Now that was a pretty good value considering a lot of the other ones were around $50 or $60. We'd had some people recommend that we get something along these lines, and that it worked really well. And in all honesty, it makes things a whole lot easier to manage the weeds in the garden. The way that it works is this stirrup-shaped blade is sharp on both sides, or relatively sharp on both sides. And what you do is you simply take and you run it along the ground, and it cuts the weeds off right there at the root. Now it doesn't de-root the weeds, so they will grow back, but if you do this every day and continue to do it on a consistent and regular basis, then what ends up happening is those weeds can't get the nutrients that they need from the sun and from the leaves that they're growing, and they end up dying off and giving up, and you're left with nice, clean soil. It's fairly easy to operate. You can do it standing up, and you can get fairly close to the plants that you're trying to weed around. You get right up in there and not really have to worry about it. Now our soil is really rocky. It doesn't seem to have a problem with that. It just kind of moves those rocks out of the way. And it just works really well. It works really easy. And it's become part of our weeding plan for the larger area. It's starting to rain. I'm going to go up underneath the porch here. But yeah, I was really surprised with the quality of this tool, especially for the price. I mean, it's a good solid wood handle where it attaches. It seems to work really well. It's got a little bit of give in it, and what that allows it to do is as you're pushing or pulling it, it'll give it that little angle so that it cuts into the ground and actually gets the weeds cut off. But it is really solid. It's good solid steel. Nothing fancy, no frills or anything cool about it, but it is secure. It is strong enough to do its job. It's a good length. It's not very heavy. It can easily be toted around. My son was able to use it effectively. My wife was able to use it. It keeps us out of the dirt. It keeps us off of the ground, standing up, and makes it a little bit easier to manage the weeds in our garden. But I'm very happy with how well it works. I'm very happy with the quality that we're getting for it, especially for the price. I know that there's a lot of other options out there for your action hoe or weeding hoe, but this seems to be a really good price, a good quality, and it has become an integral part of our weeding plan, especially for the larger pumpkin patch that we put in. And I was worried that we were just going to let that get overgrown again, but this seems to be doing a great job of helping us to manage our weed problem in there. So if you don't have a weeding hoe or a
Haas hoe or an Action push-pull hoe, and you've got a garden, you should consider getting one. This was the cheapest one I could find on Amazon. It's a really good value. There are others out there, but yeah, I'll leave a link to this in the description, so if you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. But I would recommend it. I'd recommend it highly to be part of your weeding plan. So make sure you have a manageable area that you can weed effectively. Make sure that you have the time set aside to do it, hopefully every day, so that you can reduce the amount of effort that's needed in the long run. And then have the right tools in place so that you can effectively manage and weed your garden. So I hope this has been helpful, informative, or entertaining at the least. If you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe to the channel, find out more about what we have going on the homestead. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next video.